I'm sitting in my SUV, parked at the very end of our long driveway, hidden by the shade of an old oak tree. I can't drive closer. The air conditioning is blasting, but my silk blouse is sticking to my back. Nashville in July is a sticky, suffocating hell. Just like my marriage. 3 minutes ago, my phone vibrated. A notification from our home security system. Guest code 1212 used, front door. 3:32 p.m. My breath caught. We don't have guests on a Tuesday. Guest code 1212 is his code. James's code. My lover. I created it for an emergency, and we agreed he would never, ever use it. My husband, Paul, is home. His silver sedan is in the garage. I saw it when I pulled in. He canceled his 2 o'clock meeting. I know because I saw the cancellation pop up on our shared Google Calendar. Paul is a slave to that calendar. James just walked into a house where my husband is. I call James. Straight to voicemail. I send a text. Paul is home. Get out. Are you insane? The message notification says, delivered. Not, read. I'm staring at my house. Our perfect, white, modern farmhouse. The one Paul designed. The one that was featured in a design magazine last year. A perfect life. A perfect lie. I should go inside. Yell. Create a distraction. Instead, I'm frozen, shrinking into the leather seat. I'm replaying my conversation with Paul this morning. Was he normal? Yes. He kissed me. Don't forget the Hendersons' dinner party on Friday, he said. Completely normal. Did he know? Is this a trap? My phone vibrates again. Another notification from the security app. Guest code 1212 used, back door. 3:35 p.m. My heart drops. 3 minutes. He was inside the house for exactly 3 minutes. That's not a fight. It's not something worse. It was, what? A message? A transaction? He didn't run out in a panic. He walked through the house. This was planned. And the silence from the house is deafening. I get out of the car. The humid air hits me like a hot, wet towel, and the scent of freshly cut grass from our neighbor's lawn is thick and sweet. My legs feel like they're moving through water as I walk up the perfect stone pathway. Paul designed it, of course. Each stone is exactly 1 inch apart from the next. Precision. That's his entire personality. People look at Paul and see the perfect husband. He's successful. He remembers birthdays. He designs flawless, minimalist houses that get featured in magazines. Our life looks like that magazine spread. The problem is, he treats me like one of his projects. Our marriage isn't a relationship, it's a lifestyle management contract. He's the architect, and I'm just decor. Expected to be beautiful, silent, and in the right place. I think back to 6 months ago. The painting incident. That was the real breaking point. I'd bought an abstract piece, all chaotic color and emotion, oranges and deep blues. I loved it. It felt alive. I hung it in the living room, replacing a boring gray print he'd chosen. Paul came home from work, stopped, and just stared at it, not at me. Then he said, the orange clashes with the gray tones of the sofa. It's an emotional mess. He didn't yell. He just stated it like a fact. It unbalances the room. Send it back. The next day, while I was at yoga, he took it down himself, repackaged it, and scheduled a return. He didn't even tell me. I just came home to the empty wall and a neatly folded shipping label on the kitchen counter. It wasn't just the painting. It was everything. It was the music I played, too sentimental, he'd say, and switch it to some sterile, ambient electronica that he called optimal for focus. It was the way I'd laugh at a dinner party. He'd find me later and say, "You were a little loud, Anna." It doesn't project confidence. He was constantly calibrating me. He wasn't a husband, he was a quality control engineer. James. James was my emotional mess. He's a bartender downtown. He has tattoos and an easy laugh. The first time we really talked, I'd made some stupid joke, and I started to do that thing Paul trained me to do, to laugh quietly, to cover my mouth. James just looked at me and said, "What are you doing? Let it out." And he laughed with me. It was so simple, so stupid, but it felt like breathing after being underwater. He actually listens. He made me feel real. Not like a component in Paul's master plan. The affair was reckless, but it was mine. It was the one thing Paul couldn't schedule, couldn't control. But he started to suspect. Not like a normal, jealous husband. He became an auditor. "Why are there charges from a parking garage downtown on our credit card?" he'd ask, looking at a spreadsheet on his laptop. "I thought your book club was local." Or, "Your phone's location was off for 2 hours yesterday. Was the battery dead?" He wasn't accusing. He was flagging inconsistencies in the data. He was a man who hated data he couldn't explain. He'd ask these questions while mixing his flavorless protein shake, his back to me, his voice perfectly flat. It was terrifying. I'm at the front door now. My hand is on the cold, heavy metal handle. My palm is sweating. I'm about to walk into that silent house, onto his stage, and I have no idea what my lines are. I push open the front door. The house is silent, cool from the air conditioning. The only sound is the low, mechanical hum of the refrigerator. "Paul?" I call out. My voice sounds weak, thin. "Nothing." I walk past the living room, the gray sofa, the empty wall where my painting should be. His briefcase isn't on the hall table, which means he didn't just get home. He's been here. I head upstairs. My heart is beating so hard I can feel it in my throat. The door to our master bedroom is slightly open. I hear a quiet, rhythmic rustling. I push the door. He's there. Paul is folding laundry. He's standing at the foot of our king-sized bed, which is covered in a neat pile of clean clothes. He is meticulously folding one of my silk nightgowns into a perfect, tiny square. He looks up when I enter, and his face is completely calm. No anger. No confusion. Just Paul. "Oh, hi," he says, his voice perfectly flat. "You're home early." I can't speak. My eyes dart around the room, looking for I don't know what. A broken lamp? An overturned chair? And then I see it. Sitting on my pillow, next to the stack of clothes he's just folded. It's a phone. A cheap, prepaid phone with a cracked screen. I recognize the ugly green case instantly. It's James's phone. My blood turns to ice. What is that?" My voice is barely a whisper. Paul glances at it, then back at the nightgown in his hands. He smooths a wrinkle. "I found it," he says, his voice casual. "It was on the back patio, near the gate. One of the landscaping guys must have dropped it. I was just about to see if I could find a contact to return it." It's a lie. A perfect, plausible, calmly delivered lie. The landscaping crew hasn't been here in a week. I know, because I schedule them. He knows. He's lying, and he knows that I know he's lying. The notifications. Guest code 1212. James was here. Paul must have been waiting. He confronted him. He took his phone. And now he's folding laundry. He's handling my affair just like he handled that painting. It's an emotional mess. A detail that unbalances the room. And he is simply, quietly, tidying it up. He's showing me that my big, passionate, reckless rebellion was nothing. It was just a minor inconvenience he's already dealt with. He holds up the folded nightgown. "By the way, Anna," he says, his voice still perfectly neutral. I was thinking. We haven't had a barbecue in ages. Maybe this Saturday? I'm thinking of inviting the Hendersons. And maybe that bartender, the one you mentioned from downtown? James, wasn't it? He seems nice. We should support local business. A cold sweat breaks out on my neck. He's playing. He's not just tidying up the mess, he's enjoying it. He's inviting my lover to our home. He's putting his phone on our bed, like a cat dropping a dead mouse at my feet. This isn't an accusation. It's an execution. He's showing me that my chaotic, passionate rebellion was nothing. Just a stupid, predictable error he's already contained. He's already won. I have to say something. I can't just stand here while he folds my underwear. I can't be the emotional mess he's expecting. I need to find a move. Any move. My voice is shaking, but I try to keep it steady. Of course, Paul. Invite James. That sounds lovely. I walk closer, forcing myself to look at the phone on my pillow. But, honey. Are you sure you found this outside? He finally stops folding. He looks at me. That's it. His focus is off the laundry. What do you mean? Well, I say, and the lie just forms on my tongue, born of pure panic. It's just this phone. It looks familiar. That ugly green case. I'm almost certain I saw it before. At your office Christmas party. Paul's expression doesn't change, but his eyes narrow. Just a fraction. I doubt that, Anna. No, I'm serious, I press on, the lie building. I'm pretty sure it belongs to your new assistant. Sarah. The one you flew to Chicago for that architecture conference last month. The one who texts you at 11 at night about urgent project deadlines. I remember her dropping it. Funny coincidence, isn't it? It's a complete, desperate bluff. I saw nothing. I knew nothing. I just grabbed the only other messy data point in our perfect lives, his sudden, intense focus on the new assistant. Paul stares at me. The silence in the room is absolute. He's calculating. He's analyzing my bluff. He thinks I'm trying to deflect. That's absurd, he says, his voice losing its casual tone for the first time. It's colder. Is it? I ask. I reach out and pick up the phone. My hand is trembling. Let's find out. I press the power button. The screen lights up. And it's unlocked. And there, on the home screen, is a photo. The wallpaper. It's not a picture of me. It's not a picture of James. It's a picture of Paul. It's a grainy photo, clearly taken from across the street. Paul, coming out of a hotel. The sign above the door says Soho House Chicago. He's holding hands with Sarah. I look at Paul. He's looking at the phone. And all the color drains from his face. He's no longer the architect. He's just a man. A man who's been caught. James wasn't my chaotic lover. He was my private detective. And the whole affair, it was a setup. The guest code wasn't my mistake. It was my trap. Paul sits down. He doesn't just sit, he collapses onto the foot of the bed, right onto the pile of meticulously folded laundry. All that precision, ruined. He's the man who never sits on the bed in his street clothes. He looks at the phone, then at me. His face isn't angry. It's empty. The architect, staring at a blueprint that just burst into flames. The data he couldn't explain just destroyed him. He's silent for a long time. I can hear the air conditioning click on. You. He whispers. He can't even finish the sentence. You slept with him? That's all he can ask. After all this. His infidelity, my deception, the total destruction of our life. His ego is still the only thing in the room. He needs to know if I broke that rule. I look at him. At this brilliant, cold man who audited my life while living a lie. Does it matter, Paul? I ask, my voice as calm as his was when he talked about my painting. You slept with her. You flew her to Chicago. You lied to me every single day. He looks down at the photo. That's his, yes. So this is what we're doing now, I say. It's not a question. I want you to call Sarah. Tonight. You will fire her. I don't care how. That's your project. He looks up, his eyes wide. Anna, I can't just. You can, I interrupt. And you will. And you will delete guest code 1212. We don't need it anymore. We're not having guests. I turn and walk out of the bedroom. I don't run. I walk. I go downstairs, into the perfect, sterile kitchen. My hands are shaking. Not from fear. From power. It's a cold, awful feeling. I hear his voice upstairs, quiet, strained. He's making the call. I won. I just saved my marriage by proving it was a lie. I caught him by becoming him. My other phone, my real phone, buzzes in my pocket. A text from James. Did it go to plan? Did he see the phone? I stare at the message. I look at my reflection in the dark kitchen window. I see a tired, 41-year-old woman. I type my reply. Yes. Send the invoice. He texts back, to where? I look up at the ceiling, listening to the sound of my husband destroying his other life. I text, send it to Paul. Subject line, home security consultation.